Hello once again, and thank you for tuning into the Waters and Stanton video channel. I published a video a few days ago about a vertical antenna for a small garden. Now, I was very well aware that many of you have got this problem. You've got a small garden, and in fact I have to confess that probably I shall myself be moving into a smaller garden. I haven't got an enormous garden, but the garden is getting a bit too big to look after, and I need to downsize. So I probably will be in a similar situation with a smaller garden. But I'm still determined to get onto the HF bands, at least 40 metres through to 10 metres or 6 metres. And it's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? It's a bit of a journey. And the idea that I had recently for the short antenna for a small garden, which wouldn't upset the neighbours, has been well received, and understandably so, because there's an awful lot of us that have got small gardens, and as I say, I may be joining the rank of having a small garden in coming months or whatever. But I also thought that it would be interesting to try and make up a compact system, a compact HF transceiver system that could be used portable. And I have in mind a system that would be transportable on a bicycle, because it's another thing I quite enjoy. I quite enjoy riding a bike, and as my eyes get worse, a bike is really the only mode of transport. But like all things in life and in ham radio, you treat these challenges and you come up with some ideas. So I was trying to think of how I could put together a small compact station that I could use on a bicycle. Now, I know I've seen various videos showing ham operators using a bicycle. The bicycle has got a whip on it and that sort of thing. It's not that type of setup that I'm thinking of, because I think that trying to mount a whip on a bicycle to some extent is a little bit pointless, because you're not likely to be riding the bicycle mobile. You're not likely to be on the move, because you obviously need radials and this sort of thing, or an earth wire. So trying to put a whip on a bicycle, the only reason for that is perhaps to use the bicycle as the earth point, and to make it possible to sort of get off the bike and immediately go on the air. But I think that probably in terms of efficiency, you can sacrifice the immediacy of stopping the bicycle and going on the air straight away. You can discard that in favour of something which perhaps is easier to put together and probably more efficient, because one of the things that you want to do when you're operating portable, particularly if you're operating in a lightweight setup as you'd have on a bicycle, you want to keep the weight down. And one of the things that you need to do is to, as well as keeping the weight down, you want to make sure that the antenna is as efficient as possible. I've decided to concentrate on 20 metres, because the 20 metre band is generally speaking open most of the day, although in recent times we've had a few duff days, but generally speaking 20 metres is open, and it makes the antenna a bit more practical. Now, it doesn't write off 40 metres, because I really love the 40 metre band, but for the moment, to get the system working, I'm going to concentrate on the 20 metre band and the bands above. The heaviest thing actually is going to be the antenna system, and I've decided to give this a try. These are telescopic whips. There's various lengths you can get, but for 20 metres you need a length which is 5 metres or just over 5 metres. That will give you resonance on the 20 metre band. The advantage of a telescopic whip, first of all, it's quite short. It'll fit in the saddlebag. I mean, this particular whip won't fit completely in the saddlebag, but part of it will and the other part will poke out the back. That's not a problem. But the big advantage, of course, is that they are telescopic, so therefore they telescope into a very small space. This is, I don't know what this is about, I'm going to go into the old money again. I guess this is perhaps nearly 2 foot long, I don't know. Whatever that's in metric, it's probably, I don't know, 700 millimeters, 70 centimeters. Is that about right? Yeah, I think so. But it is quite compact. The other advantage, of course, is that you can make it resonant on any band from 20 meters down to 6 meters. And the advantage is you've got a multi-band antenna that, when folded down, is pretty small. The other thing about it, of course, is that when you open it up, it's a full-size antenna on the band you're going to operate on. Now that means to say you're going to get probably a couple of dB or so, depends on what antenna you're comparing it with, but you're probably going to get a couple of dB or more of gain because you've got a full-size antenna. And a full-size antenna not only gives you gain, but also gives you good bandwidth. A full-size antenna will cover the whole of the band, probably 10 meters would be the exception, but nevertheless, because it's telescopic, you can adjust the points at which it resonates just by telescoping it in or out. That makes it very attractive. The downside of something like this is that it's not as robust as a telescopic fiberglass pole. But there again, you're not likely to have a telescopic fiberglass pole poking out your saddlebag. Now I promised I would show you the transceiver that I'm going to use. This, believe it or not, is the QMX transceiver. This little transceiver will deliver up to 5 watts output on, let me think, 40 meters through to 15 meters CW. And on SSB, it's got controlled envelope SSB, which means to say that although it will peak at 5 watts, the actual level of audio will appear to be that of a 10 watt transmission. So in other words, you get a 3 dB gain because of CESSB. Now it's not talking about compression, which all transceivers got. This is controlled envelope SSB, which gives you a genuine loudness increase of approximately 3 dB. And this is the battery I'm going to use. This is actually an aircraft battery. It's a 2.8 amp hour battery. Delivers about 11.5 volts. The beauty of this transceiver, it's got an incredibly low current draw. On SSB, the only time it draws current really is when you're speaking. It's what we call class D, so it's non-linear. It's called polar modulation. Polar modulation is what we call class D, so it means to say it's very efficient. It's something like about 90% efficient compared with 50 or 60% efficiency with a conventional transceiver. And it only draws significant current on speech. So as soon as you stop speaking, it's not drawing any current at all. It's operating in what would be regarded as a non-linear mode, except that because of the way the polar modulation works, it is very linear indeed, very low distortion. So it packs quite a punch, this little transceiver. It's like 10 watts on SSB, 5 watts on CW, incredibly low current consumption. That battery, believe it or not, will last most of the day. I've had this battery running for most of the day because it's also very low on battery current on receive. So altogether, that is quite an effective combination. Now, one of the advantages of the antenna that we've been looking at is that it's a resonant antenna, therefore it doesn't need an antenna matching unit. Now if you look back at the little transceiver, the QMX that I was showing you just a moment ago, that hasn't got a matching unit built in, but it doesn't need a matching unit. That is good in many respects because it means to say you don't have to carry an antenna matching unit around with you. You don't have any losses associated with a matching unit. The output of the transceiver goes straight through the coax, straight into the antenna, so you've minimised your losses. By the way, if you're interested in the QMX transceiver, you can only get it direct from QRP Labs. If you key in QRP Labs in your search engine, you'll find it comes up, and you can either buy it as a kit or buy it ready-made. I bought mine ready-made, but bear in mind there is a bit of a waiting list. It's a very popular transceiver. But anyway, that's the link if you want to purchase one, QRP Labs. So here's the antenna, full size on 20 meters. and I've got 8 radials on the ground. The radials are around about 3 or 4 meters long. So 8 radials will give you a good performance, and it's nice to have a full-size antenna that collapses down so small that it can go into the pannier bag on the back of your bike. I've since found that just 4 radials work pretty well, so that reduces the load I need to carry. Now you can see the 4 radials that I've attached to the base of the antenna, and very easy to disconnect those 4 radials. Let me show you. I just have to grab this, disconnect them just like that, or put them back on like that. How convenient is that? Let me show you how I've attached the radials to that clip. I got a short length of tinned copper wire, attached a terminal at one end to go onto the alligator clip, and then soldered the radial wires on one by one. I trimmed off the excess tinned copper wire, attached the wire to the alligator clip, and put the cover back on. And it's important to remember to add a line isolator if you want this antenna to work properly and tune easily. The mount I used was from another antenna, and you see you've got a spike that screws into the bottom of the mount, and then the antenna screws into the top. And on the other side, which is not shown in this picture, is the SO239 socket. Here's another popular mount you'll see on the internet, and you can also purchase the necessary spike to screw in the base. And this particular one is the M10, the 10mm thread. And here's one you'll see on our website, which is the standard 3/8 inch socket on the top, SO239 on the bottom, 2 feature coax matcher transceiver. Now it's time to take a look at the VSWR on the 20-meter band. And there we are. That looks pretty healthy, doesn't it? It's a nice SWR curve showing very distinct resonance. This is the QRP station that I'm using. You can see we've got the Morse key there, which is the largest item in the station, the paddle key, the battery there, which is actually an aircraft battery for the KX3, but that kicks out about 11.5 volts. It's quite important with the QMX that you don't exceed 12 volts, and in fact you can set a protection in the menu item so that it won't work on anything above 12 volts. And the QMX is quite an amazing transceiver. I must remember to do a video on it. That will deliver around about 4 to 5 watts on the bands from 40 meters, 40 meters through to 15 meters, and that works extremely well. You can see how compact the station is. That is a station which will give around about 4.5 to 5 watts. Quite clearly, that would easily go into a little bag that you could transport on a bicycle, and that was part of the project that I wanted to be able to actually have a station that I could transport on a bicycle. Oh, by the way, there is no speaker, as you can imagine, inside this unit. So I've got a pair of headphones there, or a pair of earbuds there. It will actually drive a speaker. If you put a speaker into it, you can actually drive a speaker. It's pushing it a bit, but it will drive a speaker. But I tend to use these earbuds because, again, they're lightweight and they work extremely well. Whenever I put up a new antenna, I tend to use reverse beacon network because it gives me an instant indication of where the signals are reaching, and also gives me an indication of the actual signal strength. And you can do it in a few minutes. And I was on the air yesterday around about 7 o'clock in the evening on 20 meters. And let me show you the reverse beacon network report I got put up on the screen now. And you can see a couple of reports from the USA. So I was quite happy with the results I was getting. I've been using the antenna on and off over the last week in my back garden. And I'm very impressed with it, actually. I get some very good results. And the whole system is very portable. And of course, if I want a QSY to 17 meters, I just shorten the antenna and shorten it a bit more if I want to go on 15 meters, etc., etc. So basically, it easily covers from 20 meters to 10 meters. That's 5 bands just with a telescopic antenna. And the easiest way to actually get or to remember resonance is actually just to count the number of sections and put it on a bit of paper. For 20 meters, I need all the sections bar 1. If I have the antenna fully extended, it's resonant at around about 13.6 megahertz, something like that. So if I remember to close one section, I'm resonant on 20 meters, and then I can make a note on a bit of paper with the other band. So it's quite a compact system, and overall it's quite a compact station. The most bulky item, I suppose, is the coax cable that I use to feed the antenna from the transceiver. But the whole thing will easily go into a bag that I can carry on a bike. And I really like this telescopic antenna. Downside is it's obviously not as robust as perhaps a fiberglass pole and a bit of wire strung up against it. But, you know, this is so much more portable. And these long whips are now available on the internet. So we do one ourselves, quite a robust one actually. Just remember to check the connections. There's two connections. You've got a 3/8 inch with a 24 turn per inch thread, or you've got the 10M, 10mm thread. The two are not compatible. So you need to check that up. But otherwise, it's a very good antenna. Spike in the ground, antenna on the top, and you're away. And hopefully, if the conditions are right, you'll work a bit of DX. I've had some great fun with it. So as usual, thank you for your support on this channel. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. I think we're nearly up to 40,000 subscribers now, so press that button. And also don't forget to check our website. We've got some great deals. There's an unbelievable deal on the Yaesu FT710, either the Field or the AESS. I think the cashback is £170 cashback. You also get a free baseball cap and you get a free bass mic, and you can do part exchange, and we've got some other deals up there as well. So check our website. In the meantime, you enjoy your ham radio, you take care. Look forward to seeing you as usual in the next video. Bye for now.